Okay, so I thought I'd share this picture here of this millennial screenwriter, some hipster guy. Well, no, he's probably very famous and I should know who he is, but whatever. Dustin Lance Black. And so you can see him there with this giant table, and he's got all his, I guess, his scenes and his story beats all arranged on recipe cards, index cards, right on this giant table. And this is 2014. And yet he wants to use this giant table, and that for his creative process for working out his screenplay. So take note of that. And then we come to Scrivener, which a lot of you guys are going to know and probably use. The Scrivener corkboard, which is really popular with people, it's a similar kind of thing. You got this kind of real world metaphor, because we love tables and we love corkboards and we love shit on the wall. And I come to a wall of sticky notes. Anyone at GDC this year might have seen this talk by this guy, I can't pronounce his name, from Guerrilla Games, and he talked about their trying to create a designer and narrative designer friendly process for creating quests and narratives in Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a recent game. It's an open world game with lots of, an open world structure with lots of little stories and quests. So I guess the theme here of what I'm going to talk about is, like, how do we keep this really writer friendly and designer friendly kind of process going without, in 2017, I guess, because people clearly love tables and walls of sticky notes, even in our, high-tech age. And I think there's a reason for that, but I'll get to that later. So this is kind of design theory here. Like, this is a classical kind of idea of how a designer works, like a musician, an engineer, a writer, architect, graphic designer. And there's this idea of this loop, right? So synthesis is like when you're actually synthesizing your ideas, like making design moves, and you're changing what's called the design situation, right? But you're doing this like all the time in this kind of loop with analyzing your design. So, but to do that, you have to see it. You have to be able to see it, and that's where the corkboard and the wall and the giant table comes in, right? But in we're not writing screenplays. We're doing interactive narrative. We're making games, and it's really hard to see your work without doing all this shit. Like without authoring the game, without writing conditional logic. Like even for narrative designers, even if we're not writing any code, we're building, we're making stuff, and we have to. We're doing a lot of stuff that we're not doing on this wall of sticky notes, right? We're doing a lot of work to make something playable so that we can see it, right? So, so my focus really is on, on process that's friendly for me as a designer, rather than me as a programmer, because I am a programmer as well. But programmer me is an asshole and totally gets in the way of my process. When I'm, so I want to put building to one side, and I want to prioritize design and thinking and seeing, moving, seeing analysis and synthesis, and not have to worry about authoring. Like, authoring tools are great, but so I take a different approach, and I'm going to show you a tool. I'm going to sort of demonstrate my thinking in a tool that I've made, and I'm going to somehow pause the screen sharing. Yep, and switch to my tool. So that should be working. And so I'm going to semi-improvise a really stupid story. And I'm gonna try and keep what Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, you know, the flow guy, I hope I got his name right, talks about, you know, having this kind of flow going. So I'm going to try and do this quickly. Last night we had a party for my flatmate. It was her birthday. So I thought, okay, well, story about a birthday. So there's a start birthday party. What can happen, you know, maybe it all turns to shit, you know, party is ruined. And this is actually not what happened, but I just like make it up. So maybe the dog eats the birthday cake. The cake, because the cake is the most important aspect of a birthday party. Maybe your parents, I mean, my parents are too old to be involved in this kind of party, but your parents are embarrassing. So they do something embarrassing. So that's a potential way the party is ruined. And another way could be your best friend makes out with your boyfriend. So we have, you know, it's a branching structure. There's 3 paths to party ruined. I'm going to walk through now, see how it works. Okay. The birthday party starts, then one of these three things happen. Maybe the dog eats the cake, party's ruined, the end. Okay. It's not a very interesting story so far. I'm going to put some, you know, cause and effect and choice and consequence in here. So maybe for your parents to be embarrassing, alcohol has to be involved, right? So I'm going to create, so maybe your mother has a bottle of gin. Mother has bottle of gin. So I call this a progression element. So it's, you know, it could be a, you know, a piece of narrative, a skill learnt, could be money, could be anything.
So is this like a, it's like a conditional or, but it's in, I guess in narrative terms, it's like some of the context or something that's happened
it's a
beforehand.
I would call it a piece of content. So it's like, for example, so these little boxy things here, I call them moments. So these nodes in a graph, I call them moments, and a moment has content. And so over here you can see, so the content of the moment. So I'm going to add, so for example, okay, we get some gin, you know, mother gets gin, mother acquires. So if we have like a scene, you know, where the mother acquires gin, maybe you give her gin for Christmas, and then I'll give her, can you see I'm adding this like story up, this little piece of content, a state update, you know, mother has a bottle of gin, that's like a fact in the world, I guess. Or it could be gin, could be the number, but you know, it could be like 10 bottles or something. And then I'm going to gate this moment. Parents are embarrassing by add this as a gameplay gate. So imagine if you're playing like a free-to-play game or something and you can't do a particular thing in, I don't know, God, I don't really play free-to-play games. Okay, it's an open world RPG and you can't do a particular mission until you've got a certain XP level, right? So this is a level 7 mission, right? And so it's gated with level 7 XP. So
yeah, so
basically,
you can't go forward unless certain things are met. Certain.
Yeah, it's a condition, and it's so it's a so in gameplay terms you call it a gate, but you could say, you know, if mother has bottle of gin is less than 1, then, you know, like it could be a binary flag or something. But yeah, so whether it's narrative, whether it's a skill the player doesn't have, whether it's a thing that's an event that hasn't happened, or money the player doesn't have, or whatever. So if we do this again, so start the birthday party. Oh, look, you see it's like parents are embarrassing is not available because mother has a bottle of gin is a gate that's not activated, that hasn't passed. So this is on the left side of the screen. You see under blockers, gameplay gates, Mother has a bottle of gin, is in red. That's because it's a gate that hasn't, you haven't passed. So it's not available to play. So, however, if we go, okay, now, and some other part of the story, mother requires a bottle of gin. Oh, look, in the progression state, mother has a bottle of gin, start the birthday party. Parents are embarrassing is a possibility. And then the party is ruined. I think, I should, like, at this stage, maybe, like, think about the cast of characters, like, do something that someone like Emily Short might call, like, a deck of characters. She talks about, one of her blog posts, she talks about an opportunity deck. Like, I sort of, like, for a game I'm working on at the moment, I keep, like, a little deck of characters here so I can see which characters are in play. So we'll have mother, boyfriend, and we haven't really met the mother yet. Well, actually, maybe we'll meet it's the mother. It's something to do with the mother. Oh God, I'm screwing this up. Actually, no. So maybe, like, meet boy or something. Maybe this meet boy scene. You get a boyfriend, so call him Nathan. So at the meet boy stage, you get the state update. Nathan comes in. I will change it to Nathan. Okay. I'm gonna get mother. We need a mother. Sorry, see, this is the problem with the design process. Like, it's all in the head kind of thing, and so I'm not really being very articulate here. Okay, so okay, you can see in the character deck we haven't met anyone yet. The story hasn't started. Meet the boy. Oh, look, Nathan's in play. Actually, maybe when the parents are embarrassing, then you lose the boy. So it's like, actually, negative Nathan at this point. It's like, your parents are embarrassing, you lose your boyfriend. So, for example, okay, so meet the boy, mother gets the gin, start the party, parents are embarrassed. Oh, look, Nathan's gone. Can you see Nathan's gone? You've lost your boyfriend. Anyway, so I'm going to now load, just like in a cooking show, what I prepared earlier. When I used the same process, I just did not know what story I was going to it's a very stupid story, obviously. So it's not going to be very clear. So I'm going to zoom in here. So the story I ended up with, so these are the characters. There is Sharon, the best friend, Nathan, potential boyfriend, the mother, and a dog. Because you need a dog, right, to eat the cake. So you are home alone. Because it's a game, right, you have to have a dungeon and a key. So you have to in order to leave the house, you need a key. It's gated with a key. So search the house for a key, you find a key that's added. So can you see over here in the progression state? So it's like a kind of record of, well, the current state of, what you have, that kind of thing. I also thought raiding your mother's wallet for cash is a good idea. I mean, I gave you cash at the beginning of the game, but like get an extra $50, right? Because that allows you to go on dates a bit more. Okay, leave the house, go to Sharon's party.
So some of your lines are dotted and some of them are straight lines.
Yeah, so I've got this so I'll stop that. So for example, so a dotted line is, I call it an unlocking link. So it will unlock something. So you're home alone, it's unlocked the possibility of searching the house or raiding your mother's wallet. But you can do these things at any time. You can search the house and then, okay, I'm going to raid my mother's wallet. However, if I made them into what I call a path link, it's like you're walking through corridors, like go east or go west. Actually, maybe a better example of that is, okay, here, it's Christmas time. Christmas begins and you have the choice, give your mother a lavender scented candle or give her a bottle of gin. At that point, you can't go anywhere. You can't go off and, you know, fuck this, I hate Christmas, whatever. Like, you're about to give her a gift. You have to do one or the other. So it's what I call a path link. And say, for example, I didn't use a gate for the key. I could go, okay, well, you know, to leave the house, you need the key, you need to find the key, and I'm going to make this a prerequisite link. Anyway, that's what
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, that's probably not very clear, but yeah, I've got this document you can look at later. So if we walk through search the house with the key, oh shit, I didn't, yeah. As you can see, I've made them path links, so that's, let's turn them back to unlocking links. And okay, so home alone, raid mother's wallet, search the house for the key, otherwise you can't leave the house, right? Because it's gated with the key. I don't know why your mother's locked you in the house, but maybe you're the type. Sorry?
Yeah, go on. So in this last few minutes, take us through what happens.
Oh, right, okay. Okay. So yeah, so you meet the hot guy, you can go on the date, you know, maybe you invite Nathan to dinner. At that point, if you invite him to dinner, then he will meet your mother, she will flirt with him, and then later on, when she gets drunk down here, she can make a pass at your boyfriend. If you didn't invite him to dinner earlier. So this is what a gate is useful for, because, you know, instead of having this massive big branching kind of thing, I could go, okay, make this prerequisite link here. Oh shit. You know, see, like, you know, it becomes this massive thing. That's why a state change is useful. That's why, you know, something behind the scenes is useful. Actually, yes, last few minutes, right? Okay. Christy, as a writer, do you want to add anything or change anything, or ask any questions, or?
Oh, I'm just, you know, my immediate thought is like, this is the sort of stuff that, yeah, I'm used to doing in my head over and over again. I basically, you know, when I'm designing a story, designing interactions, I spend the majority of my time thinking through all of the different paths that people potentially take, or what to take. Which is a big element for me. Not just what have I planned for them, but what would they want to do at that point, which then creates new actions for me. Because I really need to ground it in their experience of it. But yeah, you know, go through this in my head over and over again, and then it's just a case of like keeping all those dependencies. And what you're doing here is you're articulating these dependencies.
It's sort of a design, yeah. Like it's called externalizing. Well, I mean, in the design kind of research, they talk about the process of externalizing, like getting out on the page, getting out on the wall, getting out. It sort of relieves your brain, like, yeah. So that you know, it frees it. Like it's a thing that all designers do, or, you know, try and do. And yeah, I mean, having it all in your head, you know, it's
deceptively perfect in your head. That's the thing. Like, as soon as you get it out of your head, you see how it actually doesn't work. It's a weird effect where like everything has soft edges, you know, in your head. And as soon as you get it out,
yeah, exactly. It's all, yeah. You get all the settle warts and all. But the thing about the warts, like, you get them, like, as you saw, like when I was doing this stupid story, as soon as I came across, as soon as I discovered a problem that suggests a solution. So remember, like, my slide, I had, like, I showed, you know, analysis and synthesis. Analysis gives rise to you see a problem, and that's what sparks an idea. It's like, oh shit, I have to deal with that. Oh shit, what about how's the dog going to get, like, this, how maybe we should introduce the dog in the story, you know, like, so, you know, if you choose a cat for Christmas, you know, I don't know, maybe you need to, you know, like, oh shit, here's a character that, like, I don't know, this character has come in before, and suddenly you're using this character. Yeah. Like, shit, that's a problem. Like, oh, maybe we'll come up with a little story to introduce the character earlier or something. Yeah. And so you get into this loop. Or that's the idea of, you know, that design researchers talk about, you know.
Yeah, and I like the way, it basically allows you to get it not just out of your head, but get rid of it, you know, from your head. So you're using your processes for different things that, you know, this allows me to do a walkthrough, and it basically keeps an eye on the dependencies and what is going on.
And I think that's what, like if doing it on a whiteboard or doing it on paper, or, you know, but like there's a limitation. That's why we end up authoring, because it's like, well, it's not dynamic. I can't really see if this works.
Exactly.
So it's like this dilemma we have in game design. You know, like we have these imperfect solutions.
So what do you recommend for us to do?
I've got this little document explaining the different kind of links that I use. And it's something that I've just personally come up with that I've found as a solution for different types of structures: path links, unlocking links, and prerequisite links. And so my idea is to, for an activity maybe, is like improvise your own idea or model the existing story or game or something in this semi-formal way, like on paper or on a whiteboard or in Visio or something, and see if you can, you know, like it's just a process of slightly formalizing, you know, your like, you know, see how it works as a diagramming method for you, and like also decide, like, actually, should this be a branch? Should this be an actual link, or should it be a state change? Should it be a gate? You know, just like, it's amazing how much you can model with just a graph structure. These like this, and what I would call state updates, and other people call different things, and gates. Like those two things, you can model a shitload of things without conditional logic, without going if, then, else, when, you know, like.
Yeah, that's great.
You know.
So that's all right. No, we'll share this document for everyone, and I'm sure people will be interested in your software. But this is currently in development. It's not out there.
It's in beta. Like I would really love it's a closed beta. And I'd love beta testers if they're interested, just get in touch with me. But you know, my general point is kind of don't get, you know, like a lot of writers aren't programmers, right? I'm a programmer and I don't want to get bogged down on you know, you don't necessarily have to. Like, really believe in your process. Like, get the recipe, you know, index cards out and do it. You know, don't fetishize the technology, because you know, don't feel inadequate about that either. I mean, programming, you know, it's like a rabbit hole of pain, you know. Just keep do as much as you can, like on paper, or, you know, like diagramming stuff.
But what you're doing here is you're re-emphasizing and privileging this process that is often intangible, you know, that it, you know, needs to happen before things are made, but it is really helpful to express it, to articulate it, to even get more out of the process.
Just like a really like just this, keeping the flow, keeping things rapid, and having broken things, ambiguous things, you know, things that building a game often won't tolerate, or often won't allow you to do, you know. Just like keep the whiteboard and the corkboard alive, basically.
That's great. Thank you very much, Katharine.
Thank you.